Um, it's an honor to present at this conference, Thinking That Gender 2025, themed Gendered Labors and Transnational Solidarity. My presentation will examine the struggles of disability justice activists in South Korea and their strategies of resistance. In particular, I focus on their strategic decision to insist on confinement in a workhouse as an act of civil disobedience against the fines imposed on their protests and direct actions. A custody at a workhouse system in South Korea mandates confinement in a workhouse for those unable to pay fines. From now on, I will refer to these activists' resistance as the workhouse struggle. I believe their workhouse struggle contributes to the conference theme by expanding the existing discussions around neoliberalism, precarious labor, and labor organizing from the perspective of the disabled who have long been considered incapable of labor, and also from the vantage point of South Korea, where neoliberal transformation was experienced differently. Not as a retreat from the welfare state, but as its limited expansion following democratization from an authoritarian regime in 1987. Moreover, I believe this case has the potential to bridge two feminist scholarly traditions, one on labor, focusing on reproductive, feminized, or care work, and another on the woman of color critique of violence, particularly abolitionist discussions. This is partly because in South Korea, further institutionalization of disabled people, which is a form of broader concept of incarceration, has been propelled by neoliberal labor and welfare policies of the government to create jobs for paid care workers. By shedding light on this entanglement, and disrupting the meanings of labor, incarceration, and citizenship, I believe that this workhouse struggle of disability justice activists in South Korea opens up the possibility for broader solidarity building. Before introducing these activist struggles in detail, I would like to explain how I came to engage with them. As a reproductive justice activist in South Korea, I have participated in the movement to decriminalize abortion since 2016. Through this, I witnessed how feminist struggles could be radicalized and expanded through intersections with disability activism. The banners shown in this PowerPoint slide are pieces from an art exhibition created by me and my colleagues at SHARE, which stands for the Center for Sexual Rights and Reproductive Justice. One of the slogans of the movement, written in pink letters on a red background, translates to, "The decriminalization of abortion will be a historical victory for the abnormal." I believe that this exemplifies how South Korea's reproductive justice framework, by centering disabled women, could go beyond pro-choice rhetoric and radically challenge the population and development approaches dominating the reproductive realm in South Korea. Since this experience, I have continued to follow the struggles of disability justice activists. They demanded not only deinstitutionalization, but also improved mobility, employment opportunities, and personal assistance systems for the disabled. However, their call kept being rejected, and with the rise of the far right, their protests have faced escalating governmental repression. As shown in the news photo in the slide, authorities forcibly removed disabled protesters in wheelchairs from subway platforms. These activists were also fined for violating transportation laws and more, accumulating fines totaling 44.4 million Korean won, which is approximately $31,600 in 2021. In response, These activists declared a workhouse struggle, choosing confinement in a workhouse over paying the fines. South Korea's custody at a workhouse system since 1953, a colonial legacy from Japanese colonial period, mandates labor as a substitute for unpaid fines. However, this system has largely become a conceptual relic as it now functions more as a form of incarceration in jails or prisons without requiring forced labor. Under this system, 1 day in a workhouse deducts approximately $70 from the total fine. I analyzed the workhouse struggle through Jennifer Jia Chun's concept of symbolic leverage, as discussed in her 2009 book, Organizing at the Margins. Chun identifies a trend in both South Korea and the United States, where precarious workers who lack sufficient power to bargain through traditional methods like strikes increasingly rely on symbolic of leverage, invoking not only economic injustice, but also broader cultural and symbolic notions of justice. In the case of disability justice activists in South Korea, they cannot engage in strikes because most of them are excluded from employment in the first place. Utilizing collective power in a way similar to a strike is also not a feasible strategy for them. Their refusal to pay fine is not intended to disrupt state finances,